Well, hello from Flight Quest. Once again, we find ourselves at Newark Airport. I thought today I'll do a short IFR flight from Newark, EWR, to KABE, Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm going to take advantage of real weather within X-Plane. I'm just going to kick back. I'm working on a series of VOR work, but in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of kick back and do some flying. We filed our flight plan. Our alternate is in between here and Allentown. And we'll get this twin-engine Beech 58 up and running. We'll get our clearance. And at that point, we'll get ground control and taxi out to, I think we'll use runway 29 again for our departure. From there, we're going to pick up on a standard instrument departure, a SID. From there, we'll pick up to an NDB, on out to a VOR, and we will fly the TACAN-C into Allentown, which actually comes off of a holding pattern. Then to FJC VOR on a heading of 188, descending down. Right at FJC is at FJC VOR. We make a little bit of a left turn to a heading of 182, so there is a course adjustment. At that point, we'll probably circle the land for runway 06 or 24. I have a little nav map up here going, and I'm on the camera. We're up and running, so this is kind of a overview of my simulator. You see my left screen here a little bit, my right screen over there, main screen, a little bit of the top screen, and then the controls down here, Honeycomb controls, and also my audio mics, which I'm using PreSonus Audio Box USB 96 with two shotgun mics. Sometimes I use my condenser mic. I'm still working on my audio setup. Sometimes I go in and out. It just depends how far I lean back in my chair. If I'm pretty close, I probably get a little bit louder. So just kind of work with me on the audio. I know one of my viewers had mentioned that the audio changes when I go to an exterior view, and I really appreciate that kind of feedback. When I play it back into my simulator, everything seems to be even, but then again, I'm probably not paying attention to the settings with what I have here. I've been trying to dial those in. Let's go ahead and get this airplane started. Sometimes I forget to put my yokes back on. I'm not going to talk you through much of this, but we've done our pre-checks. Cowl flaps are open. Fuel selectors, sometimes now, for some reason, they go to the off position when you bring in the Baron 58. I'm going to put these both to both. Trims are set. And we do have good fuel flow there. Fuel pumps can go off for now. Oil pressure is good for the green. And we have a slow start on the right engine. use one of these Wacom pens. It's a little tedious at times. I do have a mouse for the Wacom tablet, but it seems that that left clicker is not clicking properly all the time. So I kind of go back and forth. It's a little easier to use my mouse for the scrolling aspect of it, and my aim is better.
Temperature 19, dew point 15, altimeter 2975. Advise on initial contact you have information. Whiskey. Newark information. Whiskey. 1820 Zulu. Arriving runway 22 left. Departing runway 22 right. Wind 230 degrees 7 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Rain. Sky conditions view at 3,400. Temperature 19. Dew point 15. Altimeter 2975. Advise on initial contact you have information. Whiskey. Newark information. Whiskey. 1820 Zulu. Arriving runway 22 left. Departing runway 22 right. Wind 230 degrees 7 knots.
And there's my KEWR SID.
Newark information. Whiskey.
Allentown.
1820
I'll go
Zulu.
ahead and enter
Arriving
that
runway
into our
22
GPS.
left. Departing runway 22 right. Wind 230 degrees 7 knots. Visibility more than 10
We are
miles.
terminal mode.
Rain.
We are on
Sky
GPS.
conditions view at 3,400. Temperature 19. Visibility more than 10 miles. Rain. Sky conditions view at 3,400. Temperature 19. Dew point 15. Altimeter 2975. Advise on initial contact you have information. Whiskey. Newark information. Whiskey. 1820 Zulu. Arriving runway 22 left. Departing runway 22.
We're all set up. We're on ground frequency right now. We'll go ahead and taxi out. There we are, the yellow plane on little nav map. I'll give us a close-up shot. And we're going to taxi out. Looks like taxiway Z all the way to runway 29 and hold short. Let's roll. Ground control, we just got our clearance. I don't need to play ground control or departure control here. And brake check. Brakes are looking good. And they gave us clearance to cross runway 22 right. Actually, the departure end. There's the highway in front of us, I-95 New Jersey Turnpike. We got clearance to cross here also. That's where the 767 clipped the light pole and the top of Bakery Delivery Company. I saw his father on CBS Morning Talk. He's talking about his son, and his son's going to be okay. Physically, he will heal. Emotionally, he has some minor issues. Which I don't find hard to believe. Going to work, driving a daily route, you don't expect to get hit by a 767. We are at runway 29. We'll stop here and do our run up. Okay, compass check. Oh, let's see. Compass 210, heading indicator 210. All circuit breakers are in and checked. All rows. Clutter. Floor is clear. Cow flaps are open. Transponder to altitude. Weather radar is going on. Tilt is up a little bit. You may not be able to see that, but I can bring it up over here. Communicating 5140. Communicating ground control. Let's switch over to tower. That's why I like the cliff check. All the C's, communication, clutter, cow flaps, circuit breakers. Compass lights are going on. Nav lights are on. Strobes are on. Might come off in the clouds. Taxiway lights on. Landing lights on. Beacon is on. All lights set. Interior lights set. Latches, windows, all shut. Seatbelts
Attention
latched.
all aircraft. Newark information. X-ray current. Altimeter 2973.
Compass lights, instruments, everything is checked. Okay, all the instruments are in the green. Oil temp's good. Plenty of fuel, half tanks, got that there. Temperature's well above freezing for our altitude also, so we should be good there. Compass, all lights. Altimeters are set. We are ready for takeoff in Newark Tower. Beech Baron, Flight Quest 40, holding short 29, ready for departure, IFR to the west, Allentown. And they cleared us for takeoff. One last thing I want to put in here is my DME on nav number 2. airspeed's alive. Knots, cross check. Nothing to really cross check. Positive rate. Gear up. Manifold pressure 25. Props 25. Prop sync on. Flaps 0. Left turn for our standard departure. I'm going to go to heading mode. Flight director's on. Over to departure. Yeah, I don't know what that static is. Maybe it's the microphones being close together. Line checks. The lights are off. Strobes I'll leave on. I'm hand flying the airplane with the heading bug actually. 5,000 to go. Cowl flaps are going to close. I feel so rusty. As you take a look at that on a little nav map here. And you see there's our little airplane getting up to Goose. That's our intercept course. Checks again, lights are off, lights are off. Fuel pumps are off, flaps are zero, gear is up, power is set, heading bug is set, getting on course, no weather shown on the radar in front of us. Maybe a little bit, see if we paint a picture here. It looks like some light rain, but we'll be above that, so it should be. $6,500. Here comes 8,000. Weather at its best. And it just keeps getting better. Oh, I like the black dark there. A lot of rain in that sucker. Blue skies over there. And now cruise checks. Lights are off. Power we're going to bring back to about about 20 inches is fine, and props now back to 20. 21. Prop sinks are on. Yaw damper will go on. Course is to the right a little bit. We'll go ahead and couple up here for a bit. About 8 minutes to go to the next VOR, which is getting direct to Allentown. I'm doing some course adjustments here. We're going to get handed off to Allentown approach. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an approach plate now. Last check on cruise lights, gears up, flaps are up, manifold pressure set, props are set, instruments are all in the green. We can go ahead and lean out the fuel. That's what I meant to handle. Looking at my fuel flow gauges and my EGT. Wait for that first drop on the indication. There's my settings there. Now running about 11 gallons. We do have all the views up there. There's a lot going on in the airplane. No serious weather in front of us. Pretty much getting close to our alternate airport if needed. For any reason we can't get into Allentown, which should not be a problem. But let's go ahead and pull up some Allentown information. We are actually ultimately going to Beers, where we'll come in here, intercept Beers to do a right turn, get into the holding pattern. Altitude will be 3,100 feet. This is the VORTAC 117.5. Approach control, we'll be using, I believe, 124.45. Allentown Tower, 120.5 ground control, 0.9 clearance we don't need. We'll be using runway 6 or runway 24. 7,500, so it's 7,600 feet long by 150, plenty of room. Runway end identifier lights on 24. High intensity runway lights for 6 and 24. Minimum altitude is going to be circling 940. Heading 188. Get to 0. 1.9 miles before FJC. Come down to 2,500 feet. Cross the VORTAC. And we have a heading change here, 182. We're going to hand fly this sucker. At that point, our minimum altitude for circling is 940. Missed approach, climbing right turn to 3,100 feet, direct back to the VOR. Yep, okay, there's no holding pattern there. And then 008 outbound to blown 6 DME and hold. That would be a teardrop entry back into a heading of 188. Okay, let's go ahead and get ATIS 126.975.
Information Alpha 1925 Zulu Special. Arriving runway 24. Departing runway 24. Wind 240 degrees 7 knots. Visibility 8 miles. Rain. Sky conditions scattered at 900. Overcast at 1,300. Temperature 16. Dew point 14. Altimeter 2973. Advise on initial contact. You have information Alpha.
Alright, we're coming up to Belvedere. That's the eastern. We're going to start descending now. They give us 6,000. Take a look at the weather at Allentown. Oh, let's see, we're reporting winds are 220, 11 knots, 6 miles, visibility, light rain showers, broken, overcast at 1,200. Altimeter's 2973 as reported. We're marginal VFR, the wind prefers runway 24. Sounds like it does. Okay, that should not be a problem at all. All frequencies are set. We are with Allentown approach. Take a look at blown, just like our chart showed you. Here is I put a holding pattern there at blown. It doesn't show it on little nav map, so I had to put one in there. And that's my Wacom tablet, not wanting to work. There's the holding pattern. We're going to come across up to Beers right here, and then we'll come back here. Depending on how we're set up, this is a IF/IAF. We could do the direct entry and do one more if we had to slow down. At that point, we're going to fly the 6 miles into FJC, heading 188. We come down to 2,500, I think, or 1,900 there. After the VOR, the heading changes to 182, and if the winds prefer 24, with the visual, we'll break off, do a left turn for a right downwind runway 24 to a full stop. We have 2 minutes and 40 seconds for this approach. Going into Beers, and will be a left turn to 1880. I'm going to go ahead and put my heading bug 188 as a reminder. We're still in GPS mode. We will switch over to a localizer once we're at Beers. Let's identify that nav. Put the same one in here. That one's somehow got changed. Ay, ay, ay. 725. And all we have to do is hit the CDI button and we should be in there. Okay, coming down to, they gave us 3,100 now. Paint a little bit of a picture here. Not too bad. Less than a minute to Beers. Getting ready to hand fly. Probably about now we're getting pretty close to some mountain ridges. I should be cutting the corner here. Turn, yes, time. Not required, we do have DME. I'm going to put this on 188. Yes. Time. No. We're going to do one holding pattern. We're a little bit low. I'm just going to come up a little bit. Watching my airspeed. I'm going to get set up for about 120. Give me about 17 in there. Now going to go to Yoke. Now the VORs might be off a little bit. That's 188. Right now I have both VORs set up to 188. I'm looking for 6 DME. There's 5.1. I'm going to do a left turn now back to 008. Autopilot's going off. 3,100 feet. I'm just going to do this one turn and hold because I'm a little bit behind the airplane at this point. I am flying on instruments. I have a coat on in my sim. It's getting a little bit warm here. Okay, we are on the outbound leg of that holding pattern. Should be about 3,100 feet. I'm trying to get down to my approach speed. Keep my heading bug right there. Looks good. There's a mountain ridge just below us. There's always updrafts and downdrafts depending on what the winds are doing. I'm going to go out to about 9 DME and do a left turn back in, and we'll fly the approach. Reducing a little bit of power to get back down to, that's good, there's 9. Let's do our left turn in. To 188. I'm going to set my second VOR to 182. I always know better to do that at straight level, not why I'm turning. Alright, number 1 is set to the VOR. There's my intercept heading, so I'm going to roll out. It should start coming in. Just going to follow the top of that needle right into the inbound course for 188. Probably could identify nav number 1 also, which we haven't done on the primary. There is a wind that's out of about 240, so that should maybe help us other than hinder us. Yeah, I'm really rusty. Next VOR. Down to 1,000 for circling, runway 24. And they hand us off to towers shortly. One mile to go. Gas, undercarriage, mixture props. Turn, time, twist, throttle top. See how quickly that goes out the closer you get. Just going to hold on to this heading. There it's twisting over. Immediately now 182, down to 1,000. See my secondary VOR coming in. There's 182. They hand us off the tower.
Attention all aircraft. Altimeter 2972.
Down to 940. Airport is in sight. Tower gives us a right base for runway 24, clear to land. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and set up for my right base. gas. On. Fuel pumps on. Undercarriage down. Flaps for approach. And tower Foxtrot Golf 40. Established right base runway 24. Clear to land. Things get a little bit louder. 3 green. Turning final for runway 24. I'm just going to hold the flaps. Welcome to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I know I'm not going to sing the Billy Joel song. Feeling a little bit low, but and approach full flaps. We'll be going to hangar 7. A little high won't hurt. Verify runway 24. Runway 24 is clear of obstructions. That's the runway. Let's take the taxiway here. Off at Juliet. All right, after landing checks. Landing lights are off. Mixture leaned a little bit. Fuel pumps off. Cow flaps open. Flaps up. Transponder standby. Weather radar standby. Over to ground. Downtown ground. Foxtrot Quebec 40 is clear of runway 24. Taxi parking hangar 7. Well, there you go. Thanks again for flying with Flight Quest 40. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I could use some work on the VOR. We switched between the GPS, then over to radio navigation. Did an IFR flight. Got our clearances. Flew our altitudes. A little bit off there for the VOR, but we were doing some transitioning. Weather wasn't that bad. Had no problem getting in. I hope to see you on the next one. This is just kind of a hold me over video as I'm working on a series of VORs. I don't know if I'm going to do them in the 172 or the Baron. Probably a little bit of everything. Welcome to X-Plane 12. Flying the Beech Baron 5A, Allentown, Pennsylvania. That was a VORTAC approach. And we shall shut down now. Have a great weekend coming up. Normally I'd turn my prop sinks off and my yaw damper off. Just verify our cow flaps are open. Autopilot is off. Mixtures are forward. Props are forward. Throttle is down. Gear handles left down. Beacon light on since the engines are still running. Put our parking brake fully on. Everything else is turned off. We are good to go. Mixtures come back. Alternator's off, beacon off, ignition's off. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.